I saw something yesterday on Instagram, social media, and it really resonated with me, especially during this time in my life. And it showed basically on this side there was like a line and it went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? It kept going all these weird up and downs. And it basically looked at that as that's like 1 year. That's a year, right? Up, down, up, down. But then to the right of it had a straight line going up. And it said above that, a decade. And I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's so true. It really is. I always like to keep it 100 and real with you guys. I go through things just like everybody else does. I currently am going through something right now, and it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't in the moment. And you sometimes might think to yourself, like, why? Why is this happening? You could say to me, but obviously it's happening for you for a reason. But it's like, why is this happening in my life? What is out of alignment? Because that's typically what it is. Something's out of alignment for things to go that way for a reason. So what is it? Like, what is out of alignment? And I'm a firm believer you really need to figure that out. And even if, I'm not saying the answer will come today, it might not come this week, it might not come in a month, but you just have to understand, like, and acknowledge what is it that you're going through. That is a struggle. That is tough. Even if it doesn't make any sense. Guys, life doesn't make sense when you think about it. Like, what is this? Seriously, what is this? We've been given a life? Like, I sometimes think about that. And I might talk about that on a podcast or something. It's like, I mean, we're so blessed to be here in this world. But at the same time, it's like, wow, it doesn't really make sense. And when you think about that, and you think about the things that you go through and some of the problems that you have, those things are so little to just this incredible world and this beautiful place that we call Earth, that we call home. I mean, we might live in a town, but that town has been given a name for some random reason, right? No matter what it is that we decide to do, we do that for some random reason. Yeah, we might be passionate about things, but that's what really gives you perspective at the end of the day. So again, going back to that image, you're gonna go through moments where you're like high, and then all of a sudden you're like low. And you look back to that high moment, you're like, how can I go from being high to being low? And then you might have a perspective shift and think, man, I thought I was so high, but I wasn't even that high. In that moment, with the knowledge that I knew I was high, but now that I'm low, it's caused me to really just think and figure out, wow, I got so much further to go. I got so much more knowledge to accumulate. I got so many more incredible people, beautiful people to talk to in this world. I have an opportunity to share my gift. I have an opportunity, maybe I'm not even doing what I'm meant to be doing right now. And that's okay. As long as you have an understanding and as long as you have a realization of what it is that you're doing, it may not be working, and figuring out what needs to shift, what needs to pivot. Let me put it this way. Let's say you're into sports, and this team, you have a team that's absolutely terrible. And I'll use the Golden State Warriors as an example, right? They have done such an incredible job. They were at a point in their team's, career or whatever, back in like the 2011, 2012, like somewhere back then. And they just sucked. Literally, they sucked. But they could have settled and continued to suck, and suck with like not good decision making. And I'll pick out a team right now, like the Sacramento Kings. Like they've always sucked, you know? There's other teams as well. I mean, like the Minnesota Timberwolves. You know, like they've seen a little bit of success, but they've never won a title, you know? But I look at the difference between those teams compared to the Warriors, and it was the decision making. And people go, well, yeah, but what about luck and the? Yeah, possibly, but I don't think if you have the right talent, meaning the people that are choosing the right candidates to draft, I think that's a huge thing. And especially if you're able to keep that chemistry good, that's huge. Again, look at the Chicago Bulls. They got split up because of that chemistry. That chemistry sucked with the owner, to the coach, to the players. So I'm a firm believer that you have to really figure out you got to go through the suck periods. Like everybody, every dynasty, any team, any greatest person of all time, they've had periods that have absolutely freaking sucked. It sucked. And they've had the lowest points. Like I said, and the crazy thing, they might have been at the highs, or what we think is the highest of our careers, or we think we're so good, but we have to hit that bottom. We have to hit that low to understand, wow, I took what I had for granted. I wasn't making the best decision making, and now I understand exactly why I'm at this low. But in order for me to, to bounce back, I have to understand these things. And I'm not just going to bounce back, I'm going to bounce back 100 times greater. Even if it's 2 times greater, even if it's 3 times greater, I'm going to bounce back. And I'm going to make that decision. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I have faith, and I'm going to visualize myself. I'm going to visualize myself getting that, maybe you're an actor, getting that acting gig, bringing in that big deal. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I visualize that it's going to happen. I'm going to visualize myself being worthy and capable of thinking bigger. I'm going to visualize myself attracting so many, my dream partner, whether that's love, whether that's dating, whether that's some partnership with business. I'm going to attract my next, maybe you're selling cars, my next walk-in, and they're going to buy not just one car, they're going to buy 2 cars. I'm going to sell the best car on the lot, right? I'm going to attract, and I'm going to visualize myself landing this podcast interview with this incredible guest that I've always wanted to interview. I'm going to visualize this. And again, the book that talks so much about this is Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. And a lot of these things sound so basic, right? They sound so basic to humans. But that's the thing. If it sounds basic and if it doesn't resonate with you that much, well, guess what? It needs, you need to truly understand it. And you might think, oh, I know that. But if you really knew it, you would acknowledge it a lot more, and you wouldn't be saying, oh, I already know that, or it's basic. Like, this is real stuff. It really is. People that are so popular, that have the names out there in this world, like if you say a name and you're like, oh yeah, I know them, they're an athlete. Oh yeah, they're an actor. Oh yeah, he's a big time businessman. Oh yeah, right? The only difference between them and you is they visualize themselves as being worthy and capable of being great. You might think to yourself of being great, but you don't truly believe yourself as being great. If you did, you would be making strides and momentum, right? And again, everybody that's been great and that you know their name, they went through these similar things as what we all go through. But there had to be a breaking point where they broke through that glass ceiling, right? We keep hitting and hitting and hitting it and hitting it. We keep cracking. It's cracked, it's cracked, it's cracked. But eventually, right, it's just like you're on that pond, you're skating on that pond. Eventually, you fall through or you break through. But what's it gonna take for you to break through to that next level, man? What's it gonna take? What's it going to take? How many more books do you need to read? How many more people do you need to pitch your services to? Like, what is it? What is it? Like, I get so passionate about this, man, because I myself, I've been through this and I'm still going through it. It's like, how many more times do you need to get to that point to just slap yourself in the face and be like, yo, wake up. Wake up. Your time is now. It's been now. Like, continue to put in the work. Continue to put in the, like, guys, getting your dream body doesn't come overnight. It doesn't even come in a year. Sometimes it takes years and years of work. I look at my life and I'm like, man, I'm about to turn 26 years old. And I've been doing what I've been doing with marketing for 5 years. And I think, and I'm like I beat myself up a lot. And I'm very, I'm a person, I can be very hard on myself because I feel like I've been doing this for so long. Meaning, I feel like I've been preaching this mindset stuff, this incredible knowledge. And sometimes I think to myself, like, man, I feel like I haven't been making progress. But then I got to snap myself back into reality. And I'm like, well, what is progress to me? I look at progress as, a lot of times we tend to compare ourselves to others with progress. But if you look back to your journey, it's only your journey. You're not Joe's journey. You're not Sally's journey. That's their own journey. You're your own journey. So maybe all the preparation that you've been doing, it's been a little bit longer than these other individuals. So whenever this time comes, you're ready. You're ready for it. And your time will come. But you just got, like, your journey is so different compared to other people's journey. So a challenge, and I'm telling you, like, don't compare. Don't compare other people to you. Or if you compare yourself to others, that's tough. That's just like getting into the acting industry. Yo, I'm trying to be the next Denzel Washington. I'm trying to be the next Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm trying to be the next Marlon Brando. I'm trying to be the next Margot Robbie. It's like, listen, yeah, that's cool. Take things that have worked for them. By golly, if you have a chance to sit with them and have a conversation with them, like, absorb that information. Absorb it. It's something that Jack Nicholson did early on. Like, Jack Nicholson, ladies and gentlemen, most people don't realize that dude took a while to become successful. I think he was in his late 20s, early 30s. I'm pretty sure he was in his early 30s when he really started seeing success. Chinatown, there were some other ones as well. But it took him a while until he started to see success. But once he did, he started breaking through. Chinatown, The One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Batman, right? That one, incredible. And then, again, he had so many freaking failures. I don't look at them as, he had so many freaking learning experiences that he finally hit that breakthrough. What's it going to take for you to hit your breakthrough? What do you need to learn? What do you need to, like, straight up, man, I'm keeping it transparent with you. I always love keeping it transparent. These past couple of days, I learned something that like I said earlier, it's like you look back and you think you were at your high, and then you hit your low, and then you realize, wow, if I would have known that simple thing, and I'll probably make another video about this, if I would have learned that simple thing, I would have probably been 10x my current income right now. But again, it takes knowledge to understand, wow, I got so much more to learn. I thought I was good, feeling great, but realistically, I'm kidding myself. But it takes reading books, it takes going through a course, it takes taking a class, it takes having that's the thing. Humility is so powerful and it's so beautiful. You have to have humility to learn. You really do. The reason why people don't read books, oh, I don't want to read, I'm not passionate. It's not that they're not passionate. They just don't have the humility to say, wow, I need to learn more. Like, yo, you're a human being. Human beings should always be trying to learn as much as they possibly can. But they just don't have the humility to do that. What's made Steph Curry the great basketball player of all time, one of the greatest, Michael Jordan, is because they had the humility to learn. They've had the humility to absolutely look like a fool in front of other people. Same with actors, same with big time, like they've had the humility to just put it all out there and fail. They have. Entrepreneurs, they've had the humility to go bankrupt, to go back to zero. But you have to understand, that's what made them great. Do you realize the stories? I mean, good old Elon Musk. That dude risked it all. He had one more flight with SpaceX. If this flight with SpaceX failed, he literally would have been deadbeat broke, and you probably really wouldn't have heard of Elon Musk at all in today's world. He had one more shot. And I believe there's a documentary on Netflix about it. If you just look up SpaceX or Elon Musk, it'll pop up. But they attempted and all these rockets just kept blowing up. And that last one that he attempted, he risked it all. And guess what? That's the one that paid off. Everybody knows who Elon Musk is. But why is that? Because he kept trying. Same thing with Sylvester Stallone. Do you guys realize the thing that made Sylvester Stallone huge, of course, was Rocky. But Sylvester Stallone, he got turned down so many acting gigs just because people said he couldn't act. He just wasn't a good actor. Like, the dude can't even remember lines or whatever. He got turned down so many times. And you're thinking, wait, what? Sylvester Stallone? Yeah. Of course you know who Sylvester Stallone is. Who doesn't? Who doesn't know who Rocky is? Who doesn't know who Rambo is? Cobra. Same with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, yo, if you literally look at some of those earlier movies of Arnold, it's, with all due respect, with acting that's really great compared to acting that's not, like, you can see that Arnold's not like the most incredible actor. He's not a Marlon Brando. But it's just the fact that he executed and he's different. And people like that. People like that about him. You know, obviously he has that image, that toughness and just that pretty face, and people just, they like that about Arnold. So again, I really want you to understand, we all go through ups and downs. But the main thing I want you to realize is, are you making progress? That's the key. Are you making progress? And if you're making progress, man, keep going. Even if the progress, you might have a low period. We all do. We all have our low periods. We all have things that happen to us where it doesn't make sense. But you still have to have the mentality of like, this is happening for me. It's not happening to me. Like I said earlier, it's happening for me for a better reason, for me to grow through this, for me to learn. That way I can set myself up greater, and I'll look back at this time and be like, wow, I am so grateful that I went through this, because if I wouldn't have went through this, I wouldn't have learned to get to where I'm at now. Let me tell you, you may be at a very high point right now. And with you being at that high point, it's great. But I'll also let you know this, there's room for growth. There's so much more room that I guarantee you there's something that you're simply not aware of that you should be hitting more on, but you're not thinking about it. Literally, that goes with anything. Even if you're already great, there's still other incredible things that you could be doing. but you're kind of satisfied with where you're at, which if you're successful and you don't really want to do much more, that's fine. Do your thing, you know? But if you're somebody that has that mentality where you want to keep going and going and going, just understand there's so many different ways that you can grow as a human. And I encourage you to do that. It's tough, it really is. But again, what's on the opposite side of fear is so incredible that every human being should get through it. One of my goals is I want to learn how to swim. And you know what's so crazy? I procrastinated on this for years. I don't know how to swim. But just understand, for one, I want to learn this year. And just understand, whenever I learn how to swim, I'm going to look back at this and I'll say, my gosh, I made swimming as if I was dying all these years. But it was just what I had in my head. That's all. It's just what I had in my head. There's so many different things that I could name. I mean, swimming, that's something that I personally just haven't decided to execute on, you know? Always made excuses, and I realized that what if something so small like that could be such a huge breakthrough for your whole entire life? Those things that you've been ignoring and that you've been putting off, what if you actually took those things serious? And it might not have anything to do with what you think it has to do with in order for you to get to that next level, like within your business, within your just life in general. What if, in order for you to have that breakthrough, you hit on learning how to swim? Shoot, that's something that I'm thinking about myself right now. And it's funny because I have a list of things that I literally want to learn, that I want to try. Because why not? Why do we have to limit ourselves in this world? Why do we have to limit ourselves in this life? Why? Why do we have to? I want to give things a try. Like if your intuition says, hey, give this a try, then give it a try. Like you want to play a new sport, give it a try. You don't know how to play it, who cares? Listen, another thing that's on my list, I want to learn how to actually freaking master my golf swing. I want to learn how to swing and play golf. That way, whenever I'm out in the green, like, oh, I want to learn how to play piano. I want to learn these things. I want to learn another language. I want to have a tutor teach me. I might not pick it up for a while, but it's just if I'm making progress and if I'm learning, same with acting. It's like, man, I want to learn maybe some improv. I want to learn maybe how to act. Why not? There's so many incredible things out there in this world that can be learned. Now, a lot of this stuff, it does require investment. So that's why you have to have that primary source that's making you the money. You have to have that figured out. And if you're not doing it well right now, figure it out. Figure it out as if your life depends on it. Because that's when everything else will get easier. Learning's not easy. It's very challenging. But if it was easy, everybody would learn and everybody would be great. I'll say it again. If learning was so easy, becoming the best in this industry was so easy, everybody would do it and everybody would be great. But that's why there's very few people that are great. That's why there's only a 1%, if that, like a 0.0 whatever 1% in this world that are truly great. I could go on and on with this video, but I hope what I've said has brought value to you. Again, I love sharing with you what I'm going through. So, thank you. And like I said, I hope you learn something from this. I don't know what year you're watching this in, but who knows? Maybe it's 10 years from now. Maybe it's a month from now. Maybe it's 20 years from now and you see me, doing incredible things, and my goodness, I do these videos because I just simply want to help other people, and I also want to give myself perspective as well. So much love as always.